To the Point with Michael Williams.
Good morning. Default for the first time ever with the nation's debt at $31 trillion and counting, or raise the debt ceiling. It was the drama that played out for months, ultimately coming to a conclusion late last week, as you well know, with the debt ceiling being raised, averting what many economists across the spectrum said would have been a huge domestic and global financial crisis. We wanted you to hear, though, what your local members of Congress were saying last week. We have a Republican and Democrat. First up, Republican Congressman Brian Mast. I talked to him just hours before the House voted to raise the debt ceiling, authored in part by his party's leader, House Speaker Kevin McCarthy. Again, it passed handily in the House and ultimately the Senate, though Mast ultimately was a no vote.
Biggest tipping point, number one, I think you take any of the individual parts of this bill, and as silos, they're all things that I would agree with, whether it be taking money from the IRS, whether it be saying students need to start repaying loans, administrative pay-go, all the individual things in a silo. I'm supportive of all those. I think it's good conservative policy. The question for me and anybody else, is it enough, given the loopholes that are in some of these policies, to get us over the line on actually raising the debt limit? That is the holdup.
What tips you to a yes vote?
So what could tip to a yes vote is to get loopholes filled so that there can't be using administrative pay-go as an example to explain that to people. That the administration to spend $1, they would have to take $1 from somewhere else. Well, the loophole in that one right now is that the Office of Management and Budget could basically override that if they said it was a circumstance that they needed to. Well, that might not be a latitude that I want to give the Office of Management and Budget that is under the administration. That would be one example of one of those concerns. When you're talking about the dollars for the IRS, obviously I've been very opposed to the 87,000 IRS workers. That was an appropriation of $70 to $80 billion last year. And to take away $1.4 billion, I get that that is the number that has so far been appropriated to that, but it still leaves, let's just say, $70+ billion out there hanging in the wind for the IRS to hire on more IRS workers. Those are some small examples of, or maybe not small examples, but examples of problems that I have with the legislation as written.
What do you say broadly to Democrats who say Republicans are holding the economy and Americans hostage because a default would be catastrophic?
I would say that debt holds the economy and the American people hostage. And I mean that very literally. I've probably said it to you numerous times over the years that the biggest shadow over every bit of our policy, whether it be foreign policy, national defense policy, monetary policy, social welfare policy, any policy that you want to be better in America, it's overshadowed by our nation's debt. And to say one more sentence on that as well, none of this is dealt with truly in this bill because we're talking about maybe a 15 to 20% window of our entire budget that was looked at to reduce. So if you took 100% of the budget, there's only about 20% of it that's being dealt with in here. And that's because those bigger issues of Social Security and Medicare are not even touched. And you can't truly solve these issues without looking at those and telling people like my age, I'm 43, hey, Brian, you're not going to start receiving that at the same age that your father, who's 93, started receiving.
If we default on the debt, if the vote goes that way, what would you say to constituents who aren't getting Social Security checks, or all of our military men and women who may miss checks, or military retirees, or people whose Main Street 401k could tank?
The biggest threat to the United States of America is our debt and deficit. Now, I would say two other things related to that. Number one, it's not to say that we default on our debt tomorrow or next week. This is off the best information of Janet Yellen, and we're subject to the information that she gives us. There is an opportunity to move dollars around in different places. That's one point, but you bring up certainly an argument that's important is the what if of what happens if our debt is not paid.
Congressman, what do you also say to Democrats who say Republicans had no trouble raising the debt limit, and President Trump spent trillions of dollars that helped increase that debt limit? And before him, President Obama, but Republicans had no problem when it was trillions under President Trump's watch.
Yeah, I would say there always have been Republicans that have had problems. Some yes, some no. And you go back to anybody's voting history, and they've had some yes votes on debt limits and some no votes. I think it generally comes down to the way it's being spent. And President Trump said it in his town hall the other day. The difference for him was that he was president in the programs that he was putting money into or not putting money into. And whether you see that as programs that increase tax receipts in the United States of America because it grows the economy overall and ultimately has a better effect instead of a chilling effect on America.
What do you say generally to people who don't keep up a lot with Washington politics and sort of say a pox on all of you, Democrats, Republicans, and say, is this any way to run a country?
I would say if we default on our nation's debt or if we don't, one way or another, I think Republicans and Democrats and the administration and the House of Representatives and the Senate, truthfully, I think everybody comes away from this kind of looking like crap. If I'm being honest about it, everybody comes away looking like crap because the way that this is dealt with on every side of it, I will be fair and say it should have been dealt with differently. President Biden should have not spent 100 days not negotiating and probably not been in Japan. And the Senate probably should have, on the Republican side, backed Speaker McCarthy's play or worked on it in other ways, at least taken up the bill that was sent out of the House of Representatives and brought it up for a vote. And on the Republican House side, right, Speaker McCarthy could have gone about this in a different way, getting different provisions that doesn't bring it to an if this is going to pass, but policy that everybody would have voted for. And so, yeah, I think, in the end, everybody kind of comes away looking very bad with the way that this has gone down. And that's not the way that I would have liked it, but I got to try my best to answer honestly.
Perspective. Again, the debt ceiling was raised. Congressman Mast was a no vote for all of that. And by the way, I called and reached out, I should say, to his staff after the vote the next day. Haven't heard back yet, but we want to talk to him, of course, on the flip side now that the vote has happened, and we'll continue to reach out. I also talked with local Democratic Congresswoman Lois Frankel the day after the House vote. She had supported raising the debt ceiling. Congresswoman Frankel, why were you a yes vote?
Very simple answer: to prevent a catastrophic economic crisis in this country. I want to make sure that people getting their Social Security checks, that their retirement funds are not diminished, that veterans are getting the health care, people are able to get their Medicare, Medicaid for their health care. Lots of reasons that to keep the very important lifelines that people depend on government for alive and well.
Why has it come to this?
Well, I have to be a little political, maybe some bias on my part, obviously, but it was just, people should know that for the last many years, there have been 60 times that we have routinely raised what's called the debt ceiling, which allows the United States to pay our bills. This session, this cycle, there are, I would say, maybe 20, 25 very, very extreme MAGA Republicans who don't believe in government. And they really held us in hostage. They basically said, if you have a choice, you can default on our debt and have a horrendous economic crisis, or you have to make some very, very cruel cuts that will hurt a lot of people. And so we had a standoff for many weeks. The president, I give him a lot of credit for hanging in there. He kept a very low profile. And I believe a deal was negotiated that we can live with. It's not perfect, but I'll tell you, the alternative would have been horrendous.
What do you like in the deal? What do you grit your teeth over?
Well, what I like is that people can keep their jobs. Social Security checks are going out. People can get the access to the health care. And what I especially like is we were able to fully fund health care for our veterans, to fully fund a new law that now covers the health care for veterans who were harmed by toxic chemicals in warfare.
Of course, your son, a veteran, and thank you for his service. What about Republicans who complained the Biden administration's added trillions to the debt, helped fuel inflation in the process, and that the brakes have to be hit before we go over a financial cliff, and that this was the place to have those tough discussions?
Well, those are what I call right-wing talking points. Why don't we go back to the Trump administration, where Republicans literally gave trillions of tax cuts to people who didn't need it. There's a lot of ways to reduce the deficit without harming ordinary people. And so it shouldn't have come to this. We're holding the economy hostage if you don't hurt people.
Congresswoman, again, it's worth a primer. This 31 trillion in debt, but that's money that had already been run up. That's the credit card bill on that was due. This wasn't new spending. It was spending we'd already created. That's what raising the debt ceiling was all about. And that's worth reminding people of, I think, at this point. Given that, were you surprised
And Michael,
at
also
the
just to
ferocity
add, yeah, I'm
of the
sorry,
debate? No, go ahead.
just to add that the reason that the federal government does not have a requirement that we balance the budget every year is because you have wars, you have hurricanes, you have pandemics, you have emergencies that we have to handle.
Congresswoman, in a broader sense, though, there's no question that we see the numbers spiraling every year under Democratic and Republican administrations. And I put the reverse question to Republican Congressman Mast yesterday about the trillions run up under the Trump administration. But broadly speaking, Medicare and Social Security, we constantly read about them approaching insolvency, going over a financial cliff. Congress is at loggerheads all the time. We're spending more than we bring in. At the end of the day, as I said to him, a lot of people say a pox on both houses. And is it any way to run a country and its finances? And that's a question that many argue is as fairly put to Democrats as it is Republicans. Please respond.
Well, Michael, let me just say we're living in a time, we just came through a pandemic. And as you know, we have inflation, and a lot of people, even if they're working or working two jobs, are having a hard time meeting the ends to stay housed, to get food on the table, to send children to college. So this is not a time to make cruel cuts to the United States budget. This is not the time to take food off the table from children, to take away maternal health care, to kick kids out of childcare. There are other ways to handle the deficit other than just plain cruelty. Number one, let's go back and take a look at those Trump tax cuts to the very richest, to corporations. Why do we need those? Let's take a look at, we can solve the Social Security problem by making sure that the very, very wealthy, that people over $400,000 pay their fair share of Social Security taxes. So there are ways to do this. Negotiating the cost of prescription drugs, that will bring the cost of drugs down. That will lower how much the United States actually has to pay for drugs for Medicare and Medicaid. So there are many ways to try to reduce our deficit without being cruel to people.
The debt ceiling debate, that is over. The political drama, it continues. Up next, the roundtable, Brian Crowley.